Qatar Open roundup. Alexandra Eala falls early as Zheng Qinwen returns with comeback win. The first round of the Qatar Open continues, and Alexandra Eala was eliminated early by 18-year-old qualifier Teresa Valentova, who won 7-6, 6, 6-1 and continues to rack up victories at the start of the season after reaching the third round of the Australian Open. It was also the return of Zheng Qinwen, who overcame a tough debut against Sofia Kenin and managed to come back from a set down to advance to the second round with a 4-6, 6-1, 6-2 victory. The Chinese player was competing in just her second tournament in the last 8 months, and her first since October. Teenager Valentova, number 48, continues in excellent form, securing her third consecutive victory at the Qatar Open after coming through qualifying. Including qualifiers and main draws, she now has 8 wins and 3 losses across her last 3 tournaments, this time earning her first victory in a WTA 1000 main draw. In the opening set, Valentova recovered from a breakdown at 2-4 and managed to take the set into a tiebreak. Eala, number 40, fought hard to save up to 3 set points against her in the tiebreak, but ultimately the Czech player claimed the set 7-6, 1. In the second set, the match was completely in Valentova's favor, as she secured 2 consecutive breaks and held flawless service games to win 5 games in a row. The Czech raced ahead to a 5-0 lead, with Eala not even reaching juice in any of the games played. The Filipina managed to reduce the deficit before the end of the match with her serve, but Valentova showed no hesitation in closing out the victory 7-6, 6, 6-1. The 18-year-old made her debut in a WTA 1000 main draw on this occasion, and did so with a win, taking another important step at the start of her career after reaching the third round in her Australian Open debut just a few weeks ago. She also secured a significant jump in the rankings and now sits at number 40 in the live rankings, her first ever appearance inside the top 40 so far. She will face compatriot Karolina Muchova in the second round, who comes off a straightforward win over Jacqueline Christian, 6-2, 6-3. Zheng Qinwen returns with comeback win in Doha. Zheng Qinwen returned to the courts after nearly 5 months away following her last appearance at the China Open, where she was forced to retire injured. By that point, she had already been sidelined for more than 3 months due to a nagging right elbow injury and subsequent surgery. The return of the reigning Olympic gold medalist was highly anticipated, and she lived up to expectations, defeating former Australian Open champion Sofia Kenin 4-6, 6-1, 6-2 in 2 hours of play. The Chinese player took longer than expected to fully recover physically, something that for now appears to be paying off with a positive result. She produced a strong level in the opening set, firing 8 aces, landing 61% of her first serves and winning 82% of those points. However, a single early break in Kenin's favor ended up deciding the set for the American, who took it 6-4. However, Kenin was unable to maintain her service level in the following sets, nor withstand the constant pressure applied by her rival, especially on the second serve. Zheng remained dominant on serve for the remainder of the match, finishing with an outstanding 85% of points won on first serve and a total of 20 aces. Kenin, meanwhile, has now suffered 5 consecutive defeats and has just 1 win so far this season. Zheng, for her part, secured her first victory, 4-6, 6-1, 6-2, since October, climbed several positions in the rankings to number 23, and now prepares for her second-round challenge against American qualifier Alicia Parks. Qatar Open roundup, a tale of surprises, comebacks, and rising stars. The Desert Winds of Doha once again welcome the globe's elite as the 2026 Qatar Total Energies Open, the first WTA 1000 event of the season, roared into life at the Khalifa International Tennis and Squash Complex. As is fitting for sport's first major stop of the year, the tournament brought with it drama, heartbreak, and the intoxicating thrill that only elite tennis can produce. From stunning upsets to triumphant returns, this year's edition has already begun to carve its own story into the annals of the tour. The stage is set, Doha's Middle East spectacle begins. Doha's blazing courts have become a stage upon which tennis superstars and emerging talents alike seek to imprint their authority. As one of the most prestigious stops on the WTA Tour, the Qatar Open delivers not just ranking points and prize money, but also vital momentum early in the season. With seasoned champions like Amanda Anisimova and Iga Swiatek in the draw, and rising young guns hungry for breakthroughs, the tournament promised fireworks from the outset. But the opening round in Doha would soon prove that on any given day, in any given heat, against any given opponent, tennis is beautifully unpredictable. Alexandre Eala, a surprising snag on the road to greatness. For Filipino sensation Alexandre Eala, the Qatar Open was meant to be another step in a steady ascent up the WTA ladder. The 20-year-old entered Doha having recently achieved a career-high world ranking, inside the top 40, bolstered by strong showings in Abu Dhabi and a promising start to her 2026 season. With confidence high and expectations rising, many thought Doha might be her launching pad toward even greater success. Yet tennis, as it often does, had other plans. Facing Czech teenager Tereza Valentova in the round of 64, Eala encountered a determined and surging opponent. Valentova, herself only 18, had already made significant waves this season after cracking the third round of the Australian Open and quickly climbing the rankings. The first set was a thrilling dance of resilience and intensity, marked by powerful ground strokes, deft angles, and daring net play. Eala, known for her tenacity and creative shot-making, clawed back from early pressure and even stood on the precipice of victory in critical moments. But Valentova remained unflappable, scoring key points and edging out the set in a tense tiebreak. Once the momentum swung, the Czech prodigy seized control. Valentova's aggressive baseline game, combined with precise serves and confident footwork, overwhelmed Eala in the second set, with the scoreboard reading 6-1 in favor of the qualifier by the end. The result was a shock, not because Eala lacked talent, but because it reminded everyone that the tour is deep with contenders capable of on-the-day brilliance. For Eala, the loss was more than just an early exit. It was a poignant lesson in the ceaseless competitiveness of professional tennis. The road to the top is long and winding, and even rising stars must navigate their share of setbacks. Yet even in defeat, there is growth. Eala's season has already featured highlights, including strong runs in other warm-up events, and her journey through the Middle East swing continues with the Dubai Tennis Championships on the horizon. For those who have watched her evolution, this loss will be remembered not as a fall, but as a chapter in a greater story still unfolding. Zheng Qinwen, the return of a force. If Eala's early departure brought sympathetic surprise, Zheng Qinwen's comeback victory in Doha was the spark of exhilaration the tournament needed. After battling injuries throughout 2025,